Today is the one-year anniversary of the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. That would be the Iranian general who was in charge of fighting the ISIS forces through many countries around Iran. That was assassinated by the United States because the United States seemingly is trying to make ISIS spread throughout the country and the region in order to justify its continued military occupation of it. Well, a Tehran prosecutor, Ali Aksai Mayor, on Wednesday stated that a British security company is culpable in the assassination of Soleimani. Now, that organization is known as G4S, and I do know G4S fairly well because I used to work for them. This is way back in 2007, but needless to say, I did work for the organization and I saw some of their practices. Now, the company that handled the security of the flight in which the Persian Guard were traveling informed the attackers of his plane's arrival in Baghdad. In other words, they went and told, these private security guys went and told the U.S. government that he was going to be there and when he was going to arrive so that they could assassinate him. And as a result, from Germany, the U.S. Ramstein Air Force Base provided data to those who were operating the drones used in the bombing. That drone came in and carried out a strike on the Baghdad airport on the 3rd of January 2020. 1 year ago today, when Soleimani and several others were killed. Now, so far, the Persian security forces, Persian authorities have requested an international arrest warrant for 45 U.S. citizens involved in the killing thus far. I mean, not much needs to be said to explain the travesty that was the murder of Soleimani, a man who was highly loved in Iran and many other Middle Eastern countries before, not just because he was a military general, but because he had carried out such extensive and successful operations in getting rid of ISIS, also known as Daesh, the polluters of Islam, people who take what Islam is and pervert it into their own selfish desires, kind of like how the KKK and evangelicals use Christianity. He was a very popular and important figure in that struggle, and one that was very successful in doing so, and was simply assassinated by the United States because they preferred the destabilization in Iraq to justify their continued imperialist occupation of the country. As you'll recall, once the funeral of Soleimani was over, a few hours later, several missiles were launched from Iran into U.S. bases inside of Iraq that caused undisclosed damage, like some kind of vague idea of brain injury to several U.S. soldiers. Not one were killed. They weren't killed. They just suffered some kind of unspecified damage and destroyed some U.S. bases inside the country. A move that the United States did not believe that Iran was going to carry out. Iran said very, very specifically that they were going to retaliate for the murder of Soleimani, and they certainly did. And the U.S. then backed down afterward from doing anything to Iran because it would have sparked off an incident in the larger region, which to repeat something that I've said previously, look up the Millennium Challenge on Wikipedia to see why the United States would not fare well against Iran in a conventional war. And that's why the U.S. backed down after that, because they knew they had gone too far and they knew they messed up. So it's important that to note that these people connected to a British security firm are guilty of assisting in that assassination by reporting to the U.S. government where Soleimani was going to be at what time in order to facilitate his assassination.
Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.